We talk a lot about humans on this channel, for obvious reasons. I assume most, if not all, my audience falls into the category, so I tend to focus on it, you know? However, today I'm going to cover another species and its various forays into the wide world of warfare. Our cousins, the monkey. I mean, technically our direct cousin is the ape, but an ape is still a monkey. You know what a monkey is when you see one, that's a motherfucking monkey. Despite generally lacking the capability for large-scale violence, apes and monkeys have been involved in quite a few instances of war in some interesting ways throughout the years, and we're going to tackle a couple of them today. Our first story comes from Hartlepool, England in the 19th century. Napoleon Bonaparte was considered a big threat at the time, well, small threat in a fistfight, but a big threat to the country of England. As such, England and France were having one of their usual wars where nothing really happens and they just send a bunch of people to die for honor or whatever for a couple decades. This being the 19th century, mass communication hadn't hit in yet, so you still had some isolated regions of countries that had barely been outside their little carrot patches. Think those rural American towns on the freeway that somehow all have an Arby's in a shell like they're in the fucking Twilight Zone, but British. Hartlepool was one such town. During the Napoleonic War with England, a ship full of Frenchmen departed to do some damage, but, being the 19th century, they quickly got bored of sitting on a ship all day and doing nothing. "Hey," said one of the Frenchmen, "why don't we dress up this monkey I brought on board and have him do little dances for us to pass the time?" "That's a great idea, Jean-Baptiste Lebesmont de Rivière de Montedor," the rest of the crew said. Little did they know, at the time, that this would be their undoing. The monkey later washed up on the shores of Hartlepool, England on a capsized ship, with the rest of the crew dead. This little monkey in a French soldier's uniform was the sole survivor, just dancing on the beach until approached by English soldiers from the town. Here's the funny thing, though. Monkeys don't live in England. Never have, probably never will. Frenchmen also didn't live in England at the time for obvious reasons. So, being a small town that's isolated from everywhere, the officials at Hartlepool saw the monkey in the French officer's dress and just assumed that was how French people looked. The monkey, presumed a spy, was then promptly arrested and interrogated. "Talk, you son of a bitch! Whoop. You're not gonna get away with that French silver tongue here, mister. What do you take me for, an idiot?" So, unable to extract any plans from the monkey, the town had to figure out what to do with the French soldier they had captured, eventually deciding that the best course of action would be to hang the monkey for treason. And they did. To this day, the town of Hartlepool celebrates this crowning achievement, and the people from Hartlepool are even called monkey hangers because of it. I've seen worse things to be proud of from your homeland. Let's jump forward a century to World War II. Just about the only place in Europe where monkeys are native is Gibraltar, a small British exclave to the south of Spain, right across the aptly named Strait of Gibraltar from Morocco. A species of macaques lives on the mountain of Gibraltar and has done so for 3,000 years. Now, Gibraltar is an extremely important piece of land, sitting at one of the only ways out of the Mediterranean Sea. Naturally, in World War II, this was hotly contested. Due to all the constant warfare on the rock, however, the macaque population was getting concerningly low, almost entirely wiped out. In response to this, Winston Churchill himself penned one of the most secretive missions in the war's history. Not for spying on Germany or assassinating someone, but for scientists to travel to Gibraltar and smuggle monkeys from Morocco onto the rock. Yes, while D-Day was going down on Omaha Beach, some dipshits got paid even more just to run to Morocco, fit a monkey under their shirt, and take it back to the motherland. I don't know the specifics or the difficulties of monkey wrangling, but somehow I think it's one of the less intensive wartime jobs. Maybe alongside that guy who had to feed the Russian war bear. Nowadays, there's plenty of macaques on the rock, but you have to wonder how many of them are the real Gibraltese monkeys, and which ones are just Moroccan imposters. Our last story comes from Tanzania, in the Gombe Stream National Park. Remember how I said that monkeys lack the capability for war? Well, yeah, I lied, because in the history books there is one little blip. One instance, where chimps sustained a 4-year-long conflict between two communities. And it happened right in the Gombe National Park. Oh, well, it probably wasn't a real war, it was just some monkeys in a fight. Wrong! Commanded armies, casualties, secession, fucking chimp-sanctioned genocide. Let me set the scene here. In the Gombe National Park, the chimpanzees are monitored by wildlife experts because somebody's gotta watch monkeys all day, for God's sake. The chimps in this conflict were split into two groups, the Kasakela and the Kahama communities. The Kahama were... Alright, this sounds stupid, and it is stupid, but they were a separatist group of chimps from the Kasakela community. The leader of the Kasakela community was a chimp named Figan, while the Kahama monkeys were led by the combined might of Hugh and Charlie, which, might I add, have the cross given to soldiers killed in action next to their name on Wikipedia. Now, you would think, since monkeys are fucking stupid, the Kasakelas wouldn't give a shit if some monkeys decided to leave their community. But you'd be wrong. After the Kahama monkeys formed their own community, a gang of 6 chimps from the Kasakela community started hunting the members of the new tribe for sport. The first to go was the chimp Goaty, one of the males of the Kahama monkeys. While he was out eating, bananas, the gang snuck up behind him and beamed him with a rock, before celebrating raucously. 2 more chimps were subsequently brained while out gathering food, Day and Hugh, which was one of the Kahama's founders. At this point, a kindly old monkey named Goliath approached the Kasakelas with what I can only describe as a peace treaty, except without any paper and with a lot more. The Kasakela tribe proceeded to treat the peace treaty just like a real human would, and brutally murdered him. 3 males remained in the Kahama family, and things were looking dire. When the 6 entered the Kahama's territory to finish the job, it was a massacre. Several of the chimps during this fight have been reported as missing in action, and never found. So, with a pile of bodies, the Kasakelas had won, but their victory was short-lived, because they were not the only monkeys in the jungle. Instead of being able to reconquer their old territory, it was promptly subsumed by the much bigger Kalande community, who they had absolutely no chance against. So in the end, these chimps had brutally murdered their fellow monkey for absolutely no material gains whatsoever. So I hope I've been able to teach you that apes are exactly like us in every way. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you would share this around, that'd be pretty epic. Subscribe, that'd also be pretty epic. I've got a couple other projects cooking. Got a geography goat on the back burner that I've been sitting on for a while. You might see that pretty soon. Other than that, thanks for watching. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.